The other supporting characters include Ada, a nun/mercenary who works for the Church of Violence as a smuggler and is on the same wavelength as Revy, being just as boorish and just as ready to fight. Also, there is Mr. Chang, the local triad boss and Revy's mentor in the field of gunfighting. Shenhua, a Taiwanese assassin who speaks like Shampoo from Ranma and kills like Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, and Bao, the proprietor of the Yellow Flag, who sees his establishment destroyed on an almost weekly basis because of the Black Lagoon Company and their antics. Of course, given the dangerous nature of the Lagoon Company's work, it brings them up against some truly terrifying enemies. Like Kuroshi Tsuji, the foes they face are mostly one-time, but unlike Kuroshi Tsuji, every single one of them is fascinating. One prime example is Roberta, a South American maid in the service of the Lovelace family, one of the richest dynasties of that continent. Although she eventually becomes an ally of the Lagoon Company, her stint as an antagonist is enough to put her on my map. She is something like a cross between the character of Emma from A Victorian Romance and the Terminator, being so completely unstoppable and relentless as to make Rock wonder if she actually was one. She is one of the very few people able to match Revy in terms of killer intent, strength, endurance, and sheer savagery. Another memorable villain are Hansel and Gretel, a pair of, and I am being absolutely serious here, a pair of Romanian vampire cannibal twins and cross-dressers. My word, just saying that makes me love them! You won't find anything more over the top than that! And if that wasn't to your liking, we also have killer Nazis, a samurai who can cut bullets in the air, a Megane Yakuza girls, and unstoppable chainsaw-wielding surgeons. Take your pick! Well, if you thought those characters were something, then just wait till you see Black Lagoon's plot. Well then, let us waste no time, dear viewers. Last one in gets eaten by me! Much of the main story mainly focuses on the lives of the four anti-heroes as they carve out their lives in the bloody and depraved Southeast Asian underworld, taking smuggling jobs and engaging in piracy every now and again. In such a violent world, the potential for great adventure is exercised to the utmost. Literally, the first arc has them killing a helicopter with a fucking speedboat! And that was just when Rock was starting out with them. We move on from such exotic locales as Japan. Imagine that. And the ever-beautiful Philippines! Yes, I know. How often is that country seen in anime? So, locations aside, a typical story involves Dutch accepting a job and the company completing it through a mixture of improvisation and Revy's handguns. You know, for fucking kids! Another point of significance to the plot is Rock and his relationship to the world he is forced to live in. The man, although exposed time and again to acts of godless savagery, never lets go of his decency, although he has grown comfortable with all the backroom wheeling and dealing and subtle threatening that comes with being a criminal. The point of this is to add a human side to the otherwise completely heartless underworld of Black Lagoon. Sacrilege! If I were in charge of the plot, then every day would see at least 15 kittens sacrificed on an altar carved from the bones of cute little bunny! Now that my craving for senseless violence is satisfied, we can consider the Lagoon Company's relationships. They offer a good deal of the intrigue in the series, such as Revy and Rock having often deep and virulent arguments on ethics, that once almost resulted in the former being shot point-blank by the latter. Amidst the strife, however, a synergy has grown, with Dutch often stating that Rock is the soul and silver bullet of the company. This makes the company a chaotic, bickering, but very close family. Some have suggested that Revy's respect for Rock may go into love, but I disagree. They are good friends. Anything more would be insulting to their characters, as well as to the theme of the show in general. I fail to see how the words romantic comedy can factor in a series that has something like this in it! And now we move on to the inevitable question. Is there anything that the great and terrible anti-viewer disliked about Black Lagoon? As ludicrous as that may be, my answer is yes. I find that too much focus goes to developing Rock and Revy. Benny and Dutch get far too little exposition. They are just 2 steps away from being supporting characters. Also, the Fujiyama Gangsta Paradise arc is far too preachy and existential. It's good that the series makes people think, but when you start bringing up people like Jean-Paul Sartre in a series that has cannibal vampire twins in it, well, that's just silly. But this by no means removes anything from Black Lagoon as a whole. The action is top-notch, making for an adrenaline-fueled thrill ride akin to a Die Hard film that is successfully counterbalanced by the series' profound and mature take on what it means to live in the criminal underworld. But, once again, the series' forte is undoubtedly the stunning battles, explosive story, and hilariously black comedy, providing something that's just deep enough to make over-the-top action seem meaningful. Most of the time. And so, I give to Black Lagoon, a series full of action, darkness, and good old ass-kicking fun, my final verdict of 8.5 out of 10. I recommend you give both the manga and the anime a good try. It will most likely blow your mind. Until next time, I am your cheerful torturer, the Anti-Viewer! Oh, and one last thing before I go. Hit it! やらないかやらやら大会も時々止め